Hello, happy Wednesday. I am so excited for this conversation today. This literally made an $8,000 difference in my client's launch. Originally, when we promoted this, I thought it was $6,000, and then on our call, she told me 9 out of 10 people got the VIP option, so we had to change it to an $8,000 difference. So that's really exciting and cool, and I can't wait to share it with you. It is super simple. You can start it today. We're going to walk it through my framework of mindset, strategy, organize, and implement, so that you can take it and run with it like immediately. And it's going to make a huge difference in your business, in the clients, how you feel, your long-term success, all that stuff. Like, it's just magical. And if you're here, please say hello. If you catch the replay, drop a comment. I don't like the doorknob in the background, so that's bothering me. But I want this to be for you. Like, this is basically free coaching. If you show up and ask questions and ideate with me, like, this is free for you. So I'm really excited to share this with you today. So we'll dive in a minute. But first, I just have to, it's on my desk. Very proud mama moment here. My youngest is turning 5 in December, and that's her. But that's her little school photo. And I love every year it's the same photographer, and they have the like hugging the tree pose. I think it's just so cute. We've got their pictures right back there. It's their little school pictures. So we'll update those as they come in. But if you're jumping on, please say hi. Let me know any questions you have as we go through this, because I want it to be super supportive for you. In a couple weeks, we are going to have our masterclass, so that will be here in the group. It will come to your inbox if you want to sign up. What did I name it? I'm trying to find it here. It is 20K Revenue Secrets and Unlikely Lessons for 5-Figure Months. So if you've been around here for a minute, you know that I don't love, there's no secrets in business. I think that's bullshit. So I'm just jokingly saying secrets. But if you are new here, you know, I am Jordan Ilderton. I've been in business going on 8 years supporting clients. We have 20K recurring months. I take home most of that as pay. We have super great gross profit margins. Really proud of that. So this is going to be a masterclass you can sign up for. You can DM me for the link. It'll come to your inbox, the playbook, the replay, all of that is free. You'll also be entered to win a free coaching session. So super excited about that. You'll see that rolling out. So today we're going to jump in. So what I'm talking about today with the sales strategy. And if you're jumping on, hi, Erin, thanks for joining. I was just going to say, if you're jumping on, say hi. I know we've got some people, lots of interest in this today, and I know lots of people want to get the replay. So be sure to ask your questions. This is what it's here for. So this conversation came up with a client who was doing a test launch. So she had a warm audience. She had people on a wait list, and she was kind of rolling out a new offer that was like an iteration of her other offer. And so she launched it to the wait list, super warm audience. She had 2 people buy, and then it was crickets, like nothing. And she was so frustrated. She was like, I don't understand. I am over delivering. Like, we didn't even have the price where she wants it to be. Like, it's super discounted, like early bird special, just like majorly over delivering. And she was so freaking frustrated. And just like, and I'm sure you can relate. We can all relate. Like, we have this great offer. We're like, why aren't people buying it? Like, this is crazy. So really what I brought to her was, how can we stop making the sales and stop making it about you and make it about them? And so that's what we did for the launch. We really leaned into how could she make it about them? And we're going to talk about that through my mindset, strategy, organize, implement pieces. But after that, the floodgates opened up. Like, she signed 8 more people. Her cart was only open for like 2 weeks. Like, this was a pretty short time frame. She didn't have a lot of collateral. Like, she barely had links set up that she could give them. Like, this was just kind of a like, let's have some messy action and see what results we get. And it ended up being a 10K launch. She filled all the spots. 9 out of 10, you know, did the VIP option. So once she really like took the mindset and strategy and implemented, you know, the sales being about the person who was buying, it was just wild. And it was literally an $8,000 difference because of just the drop off that we saw and the stop in purchases. And then when she leaned into this other strategy of making it about them, it just busted wide open. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And it's just really fun because y'all know me. I love to give context. I love to give numbers. I love data. So I just love to share that with y'all. Obviously, I'm going to keep it super private, like what this is and what the offer is and all that. I'm not going to share that, but please ask questions along the way if you want any other details as we go. So this is so important from the mindset perspective of like people thinking that sales feel scary or icky or, you know, all of that. And it's really because they're making it about them. So sales should be about the potential customer, what they're feeling and what they need. So if you don't know what they're feeling, you got to find out. Like, this is your job as a business owner. It is no one else's job. It is not your VAs. It's not your OBM. It's not even your marketing person. It's not your coach. Like, it is no one else's job but for you to know them. So take that mindset of like, you know, I need to know them like the back of my hand, and that is my job. And then figuring out like what they're going through just makes it so much easier. It makes the conversation feel better for you. It makes it feel better for them. Like, we read energy. So if you're on the phone with someone or in a DM or something, you know, wherever you're having a sales conversation, and if you are in your head, you're like, I need to book a client, I need some money, like I need this, they are going to pick up on that. Like, we read energy, like we're not stupid. I was walking the dog the other day and walked past a yard, and I think I heard like one or two words from this couple in the yard, but like I knew they were fighting. Like, I didn't hear the conversation. I didn't know what was going on, but it was like I could read the energy and they were having a fight. So that's just how big energy is. So if we're approaching a conversation with someone from this like needy, grippy, I need to make a sale, what am I going to do? I got to pay my rent. Like, I totally get that. And like, we have to detach. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, because when I say detach, it's just like, please, it's really hard to do. But just remembering that like people can read your energy. They can pick up on that. They are smart. So, you know, if you're just in it for the sale, then they can just smell that a mile away. So that's something with the mindset piece I want to talk about. And then it also, having this strategy really allows you to personalize your offer. So I don't mean that you're changing it or that you're morphing into someone else or, you know, just being a chameleon, but like you're bringing it back to them and what they need. So often if people do sales trainings or sales scripts or sales programs, it really is like not teaching you to serve the person in front of you. Like, they could tell you some really juicy, valuable information, but you're so hooked on your script or what you should say or what you're taught to say that you're not really making it about them, and they pick up on that. So this like really allows you to personalize it to them when you're listening. And so that, like, I'm looking at my notes, I put a note in here. I'm reading a book. It's a parenting book, which I don't read many of these, but it's like Peaceful Parenting, Happy Kids. But it basically comes down to relationships. So like, as a parent, you know, I have 3 girls. They are 8, almost 7 and 4. You know, and just thinking about if kids are acting out, it's more because they need something from the relationship. And, you know, the saying, connect before correct. So having that connection with them before you correct them is like key. And just thinking about like, we don't change that much. Like, as an adult, I still want connection. You know, we still want relationships. We still want someone to hear us. And so bringing that back to the sales process is huge. And the book had a quote by Henry David Thoreau. I think that's how you say the last name. But it's the greatest compliment that was ever paid me was when someone asked what I thought and then attended my answer. So that is just something like in the sales process, like, we humans just want to be heard. We want someone to listen. We don't want to share our deepest worries or, you know, anything coming up in our business or whatever we're on a sales call with someone about, and then them just be like, okay, cool. So you're going to get this, this, and this. And so this kind of brings us into our strategy piece of it. Like, we talked about the mindset piece of make it about them. It feels so much better for you because it kind of takes the pressure off, and it's just that energy that they're going to pick up on and feel so valued and like, holy shit, she actually listened. Which does mean you kind of have to like figure things out on the fly. But it's so much better than a script where you're just like totally ignoring the person in front of you and what they need, and you're really going with them. So let me know if you've got any questions about that, but we'll kind of go into the strategy piece of this, which is not giving people a huge list of what you're selling them. Like, you know, kind of how I think about this is like, if you are, and anyone who jumps on or watches the replay, feel free to tell me your business and we can like ideate together. But, you know, whether it's like through your content or on a sales call, really showing them like what's in it for them. So with my client, we were kind of looking at the first email that she sent that kind of flopped, and I pulled it up. She shared it with me, and she's kind of reading through it, and I'm just sitting there like, honestly, my eyes are like glazing over right now. Like, I know this is a really good deal because we worked on it together. I know you're heart-centered and you are supporting the shit out of these people, but like, I don't want to read all of this, like bring it back to them. So that was kind of like the first goal, was like, not just like, here, you're going to get this, and this. It was really thinking about like, what's in it for them? What is the end result that they want? Paint the picture for them. Why are they having a hard time with this? Like, what is holding them back, getting in their way? Like, show them what's possible with the results. So, that was our kind of first goal with that email, is like really switching this up. We took the focus off of all these little things that were included, and this really went all in on what the end result was about and why it was for them. So that is like so important in your sales conversations, in your content, really bringing it back to them. And then like, yes, of course, we want to tell them like, they're getting, these group meetings, they're getting access to this Facebook group, they're going to have access to these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, PDFs and templates and all this other stuff. But like, the main focus isn't just listing out like every single little thing. So I know we got people on here, so y'all are quiet. If you have questions, let me know, or maybe I'm just explaining this really well, but I always want to get your feedback. This is where like in your content, it's really great to know what they want, because you can go ahead and speak to that in the content. Like, as you're talking to your potential clients, you're really collecting data that you can use in your content. And then when you're having the sales calls, you're really using what the person in front of you is telling you. So, like if you were an OBM or, a VA and you're talking to someone in a sales conversation, they're like, I just really don't have time to onboard you or whatever else. And that's when you're like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm here for. Like, that's what I'm going to help you do, instead of being like, oh, you're going to get this many hours a month, and then we'll set you up in this platform, and then I'm going to do this many graphics for you every month. Like, instead of going in the direction of just like, logistically, what does the container look like? If you're sitting there like, they just told me that they are so overwhelmed and don't have a lot of time, I'm going to wrap the container around that. I'm going to hook into that because that's what they need. To know that that's what I'm going to bring. So it's like, you're having the conversation from like, yes, I'm literally here to support you with that. Like, you won't have to worry about X, Y, and Z, or we have a system set up so that all you have to do is review this, and then you're going to have a week's worth of content, or whatever that looks like. Like, bring it back to what they just told you. So Erin says, this is helpful. It applies as I just launched my first online course last week to help new entrepreneurs set up the elements that create a thriving business. Learning how to market and sell has been different from my website design offer. Yeah, exactly. It's all like bringing it back to what they want and doing the research to figure out like what their pain points are. And so, yeah, I'm learning through the process so far, and I have 5 sales, but would love to support more. So that's, super helpful. This is great when you're, let me kind of get that client. So thank you, Erin, for sharing that. I really appreciate that, because I think that really gives everyone a lot of context and permission, like, especially as you're pivoting or doing new offers in your business. Like, if y'all know my story, I've been in business almost 8 years. Like, I've had so many iterations of this, from the bookkeeping, from the advisory, now to coaching with the bookkeeping, like all these things. And you're always kind of tweaking your messaging. You're always kind of tweaking who you're talking to, who you're selling to, and really like finding out more about your audience and what they need and want from you. And so using that is just like gold. Like, even if you're reusing content, like we had a big content conversation last week, and it was definitely reuse content, repurpose it, and like full permission to update with information along the way. I say that with all of my clients, with their sales process, with their offers, with their sales promos. Like, we will get a batch of amazing promos together, and then it's like, but these aren't set in stone. Like, full permission to change these as you get on calls with people, and they're telling you new information. Like, you can make some new posts or tweak the old ones. Like, we're always kind of using the information people give us so that we can provide a better experience. So again, and like, thinking about you, Erin, with that was actually one of the examples I had, was like a web designer. If you were a web designer, this is like a conversation you could have, is like, okay, I'm going to, make sure your website is updated every month and everything is like running smoothly, and I'm going to check the links for you, and I can redesign a landing page for you every month, or whatever you're bringing to them, instead of just being like, okay, you get an hour a month and it's going to cost this, and I do these really technical things behind the scenes that nobody knows what it means. Like, I think it's just so powerful no matter what business you're in. And again, anyone feel free to like ideate with me if you don't know what that is for you. But think about like, okay, if you're the web designer, you're providing these services that are really going to help someone every month, as opposed to just, here's my hour a month container, use it how you want to. Like, we're really bringing it back to what they want. And take a sip. So for me, I can just talk about this. When I'm on calls with people, like, it's really not like, oh, you get 3 sessions a month, you get all the support in between. Like, it's really like, what do you want in your business? Do you want to be full? Do you want 5K a month? Do you want 10K a month? Do you want 20K a month? Like, I know that this is all possible. Let's work on that together, because that's where the magic is going to have. Like, I'm not sitting there being like, well, on call 1, we're going to do this, and on call 2, we're going to do this, and on 3, we're going to do this. It's really like, I don't give a shit when we do it. It's going to be in this container, and we're going to get it done, but we are going to get you the results that you want. Like, that's what I'm hooking into in my sales calls, just because it's like, nobody cares how many calls I'm on. Nobody cares. Like, everybody has 3 or 4 or whatever calls. Everybody has, support in between. Like, it's really bringing back to like my magic that I can help people with, because I have built, I started as a bookkeeper at $35 an hour, and now we have 20K recurring cash months. So like, I know my shit. I've been in business 8 years. Like, I can support my people to get where they want to go, because I have literally been there. Even if they don't want to have the same business as me, like, it doesn't matter. They don't have to do it my way. They don't have to use what I've done, but I know how to help them get there, and I'm like the best person to support them. And so that's what I'm bringing it back to. So again, anyone else, like, feel free to chime in. But this is the part of the sales call or the content or whatever that we are showing them how great we are. Like, we are not trying to prove anything to them. We show up with like a, yeah, how can I help you kind of mentality, and not just like, hey, I'm a dancing monkey and I have all these meetings. Oh, and I have all these number of hours every month that you can use. Oh, and you can email me anytime you want. Like, that's like this, like, proving, let me show you how great I am. Let me show you all the bells and whistles I have in my program or my, whatever it is I'm offering, versus like just showing that I'm the shit and I know my shit and I can help you. Like, that is a totally different energy. And so when we are focused on the other person, we are showing them how we can help them, not just like trying to like prove everything. So does that help kind of, lean into, as you're having your conversations, really thinking about showing people how great you are and how magical it will be when they work with you, versus let me prove with, all the 10 things that I've added to my program. So that's something I want to talk about. So I had a coaching call with a previous NICU nurse, and I'm a previous NICU nurse. So it was really fun to sit there with her and be like, I know exactly where you are. I know all the like amazing like qualities that you have that you bring to your job now from being a NICU nurse, like detail oriented, like organization, like all these things. And I was just getting like so excited. Like, I can't wait to work this into your messaging and like, use these skills and bring it to people and tell your story. And it's really what's going to set you apart. And so on that call, it was really all about her. Like, no script could have ever told me to say like, oh, find out if they're a NICU nurse, like you're a NICU nurse, and then you can have that thing in common. Like, no script could ever have done that. So I really invite you on your calls to just like toss the script. Like, yes, have a framework. Like, yes, we start the call like this, we kind of dive into this, then we kind of pivot and talk about money like this. Like, definitely have a framework and communicate that framework to the person on the call. And that's something I work with my clients on. Like, we will role play, we will have sales calls together. So if you want to do that too, book a free call and we can totally do that. It's something I love to do because it's definitely a skill. But what was I saying? Yeah. But no sales script is going to tell you exactly how to best serve the person in front of you. So typically I have an organization piece in my conversation, but we're going to skip it. I don't really feel like that's relevant in this one. I mean, it kind of is, but we'll just go to implement. So please get support if you don't know how to do this. Practice with someone, like have a friend or loved one or your spouse or your sister or anyone just like role play with you and try it out. Like, we're so used to doing like our spiel or having like our elevator pitch or, you know, whatever we were taught in a sales program. We really just kind of need to like toss it to the side and just cut the bullshit and just serve the person in front of us. So have someone practice with you. Like with, you know, me, I have my clients, like they practice with me, and it might feel a little awkward and we kind of laugh about it, but it's fun and it's so helpful to them because I am such a just like, you know, non-judgmental third party. Like, I mean, I'm in it with them, so I'm not really a third party, but sometimes it is a little harder. Like if I tried to practice with my husband, like he's a builder, like his business is so different than mine. Like he'd be like, yeah, you did a great job. Like, you know, so have someone who's really going to sit there with you and give you like honest feedback of like, no, I feel like you kind of ignored when I told you these things. Or, you know, I feel like you were just kind of rattling off, you know, your benefits of this. Like really have someone who can support you to practice that, because it's not easy. Like having a sales script is easier in that like it just tells you what to do when you follow that. Whereas like listening to the person in front of you is definitely like you have to think on the fly and like connect the dots for them and bring it back to them. But it's easier in the long run because it's going to probably result in a sale. And so that's kind of like the thing I challenge you to do is like, if you're so used to a script or so used to doing it a certain way or saying it a certain way, like really let yourself open up with playing with that. Like, well, what if they said this? What if they told me this? You know, most people, what it comes down to is time and money. So those are probably going to be the main objections. And then if they still, you know, when you're having the conversations with them, and we could have a whole live stream about navigating objections, I get it. But, you know, one of the things that we really want to make sure first is that they understand what the program is and why it would work for them. Like that is the first thing. Like you can't sell to someone and navigate objections if they don't even really understand like what you offer, how it's going to help them, or if they even need it. Like that's when sales feel really gross and icky and like pushy, because you're like, I don't even know if I want this thing, and this girl's like trying to navigate objections. Like it just doesn't make sense. So make sure that like you are clear with them. Like, hey, do you need me to outline the program? Do you need me to outline the course? Like, you know, where do you feel like this is, do you understand how this would benefit you? Like have that conversation first. And then if it's like, okay, yeah, I understand what's all included and I can see how that would be beneficial, but I still can't afford it. You know, that's when you're kind of digging into like, do you trust yourself to show up? Because that is like the kicker. Most people are scared shitless to invest in themselves. They're scared to go all in on themselves. And I don't mean just like from the clients I work with that hire me as a coach, but like literally anyone. If you're a web designer, if you're an OBM, a VA, like paying someone to do something in your business can feel so freaking scary. And you don't know if you're going to get a return on that. Yeah, it's deductible, but like, you're like, I don't want to pay this and just it decrease my taxes by a little bit. Like I literally want to see a return from my website being redone, from my photos being redone, from, you know, a VA who is posting all this stuff. Like I want to get a return from that, and no one can promise a return. That would just be so out of integrity. But just having that conversation with them, that's like opening the door of like, well, do you trust yourself to make good decisions? Have you been burned in the past? Like maybe they spent $5,000 on a website previously and like they just got, you know, some clunky little thing that my college roommate could have done. You know, so just want to have those conversations and like let yourself go there, is basically what I'm saying. Like open the door for some like truth and honesty, because no one can teach you a script to navigate objections, because everyone else is going to have their own shit. Everyone is going to have their own previous history, you know, anything coming up that you'll probably see commonalities between people, like self-trust and being burned before or whatever. Like those can be common, but like the way they present and show it and share it with you is going to be different. So like making sure that, you know, you like are there with them, like kind of holding their hand and being like, this is okay, is just so important. So I feel like I went on a tangent about that, but again, please get support, practice, have someone there with you. Even if you feel silly, you know, like I like to go through my clients' content. I'll go through their emails, not go through, like they send it to me to review. Like it sounds like I go through their emails. That's not what I meant. They will send me their collateral, basically copy, content, emails, all of that. We will practice in person, doing all that just to like really develop the skill of listening. Let me know if y'all have any questions about all this, because I know, we've got people here. So really like thinking about like, yeah, this is harder in the short term, but it will get easier. It's a skill you can practice, and it's a skill that you can be like, oh yeah, like just having compassion for the people you're selling to. That was another thing with this client, when she was so almost angry at her audience for not buying. And it's like, they were a warm audience. They put themselves on a wait list months ago. So when they weren't buying, she was mad about it. And I was like, let's just have some compassion, because this just shows how scared they are to like buy this for themselves. You are laying it out there, and like you're providing a ton of value, but they either don't see the value that's provided, or they just really don't trust themselves. It's not like someone signed up on her wait list and then later they're like, ha ha ha, I'm not going to buy from you. Like, nobody's doing that. Like, they are not buying because they are scared shitless, and we need to meet them where they are and just be there for them and like hold their hand, like it's going to be okay. Like, I totally get it. Like, this feels like a lot of money. Like, they are an audience that they're students. And so I remember being a student, like buying a cup of coffee was like a huge freaking deal, like it was huge. And so like when I took, I'm a CPA and a nurse, so I took both exams and I had training for both of them. And with the CPA exam, it was a time commitment. And with the NCLEX for nursing, it was like, I had no money. Like, I was a nanny part-time, like that was my only income. And so spending all this money on like a 3-day thing was huge for me. But like, I really saw that it was going to give me the result that I wanted, which was to be a nurse. And so, if you're in a position where people are like, they're just so freaking scared, and you can see that, like, we've just got to have so much compassion for them. It's not like they're trying to waste your time, or they signed up on your list and now they're not going to buy, or they're just freebie hunters. They're just trying to suck whatever they can out of you. Like, people don't have time for that. People don't do that. I mean, maybe like some psychos out there, but for the most part, like, people genuinely want to like know that something is going to help them. And so being that like compassionate person that can just see them like, holy cow, like they're just really scared and they don't know that this is the right thing for them. And I just get to like have that as part of my sales process and have that part of the communication that we have. And like, I get to lean in and tell them like, this is going to help you because of this. And I totally get why it's scary. Having that conversation, it just serves them and like helps you feel better about the sale just all around. So gotta run, but thank you. Thanks, Erin. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here. We'll dive in. We have a little bit more, but this also comes back to the part where it just feels better about selling. You feel better about selling. The person on the other side feels better about being, the recipient of that. And it really creates long-term results better because you are discerning for fit. So earlier when I talked about seeing if you could be detached, seeing if you could not have that like grippy, needy energy, and that's just easier said than done. But if you look at it through the lens of I'm discerning for fit as much as, the person on the other side, that is what helps you kind of unhook from the whole needy, grippy energy. If you're sitting there like, I'm going to show them I'm the shit and I'm here to see if they're a right fit as well, that really helps like take the pressure down, kind of like release the pressure valve, whatever analogy you want to use. But when you're thinking of it from the lens of like, I'm here for them and we're both discerning for fit, because that's where the long-term clients come from. Like, if you are looking for fit, I've had clients, my bookkeeping clients have been with me, some of them for almost 8 years, like from ground zero. And a lot of my VIP one-to-one clients have been with me like since I started doing this. Like, they renewed every time. Most of them stay with me at least a year. So many of them have just been with me the whole time. So that is amazing. And I think it's because I really discern for fit. And there have been a couple times where I didn't ignore red flags. It wasn't red flags, but it was just like, like that, like looking back, I was like, oh yeah, like I really just wanted to help everybody and like have this need to help people. And in a couple situations, it was like, no, they just weren't a good fit, And so if you're having a sales conversation with someone and you're really making it about them, you're also just making it about like, are they even a fit for this? Because that is just very heart-centered, is to be able to sit there and be like, I love you as a person and you're great, but this isn't right for you. Like, even my client who wanted the 10 clients, like, she still turned people down because she was like, this is just not right for you where you are right now. Maybe in 6 months or, in 3 months, like once you've gotten this done, like this will be a fit, but right now it's just not. Or some people are like, honestly, this will never be a fit, and just being able to like have that conversation is just really helpful, because then you have the people come in who are going to stay with you for a really long time and who are going to refer people to you. So really, like, customer satisfaction and retention can come down to fit. And so if you're discerning for fit on the sales call and having this conversation of what they need, like that just feels so much better to both of you. Let's see. So yeah, in the short term, like you might book the client and you're like, okay, yay. But if you ignore red flags, or they're just not like a long-term relationship, then it's like, yeah, they may have stayed for a little while, but then they didn't. And then you have to go find another client. Whereas like, it's just cheaper, easier. It's just more fulfilling to work with people for a long period of time. So it really helps you unhook from that grippy, needy energy and really be detached and, see it as looking for fit. So use this in your business, please. This is a huge game changer. Like I said, it feels better for you. It feels better for the potential client. It was going to give you better results now. It's going to have better long-term clients and referrals later. Like, this just improves everything, and it's something that you can literally do right now. You can start it in your content now. If you're having, calls or DMs or live streams or masterclasses or launches or whatever, like you can use this literally right now. So think about, how are you approaching sales? Are you making it about you, your needs, your fears, your insecurities, or are you focusing on the person in front of you, what they need, what they're afraid of, what they want, what you see for them as possible? Like, this is just all like so powerful. I'm just, obviously, like this live stream, I've just really gotten passionate about it. Then you're connecting the dots for them. Like, this is what it's all about, is being like, I hear you. And yes, my program, my service, my, container is such a good fit for you because of X, Y, and Z, because of what you've just told me. So you're connecting the dots and bringing it back to them. You're not morphing into anything. You're not changing yourself. You're not trying to be the dancing monkey. Like, you're literally just there for them and bringing it back to them and, making that transaction more of like very heart-centered. Does this feel good? And it feels good to them. Like, they're on board with everything. Like, it makes a huge difference. So, if you're feeling like your sales process is funky, or you're bringing in clients who aren't the best fit, or your messaging is off, or when you write a sales post, you don't know exactly how to even make it about them, like, I hear you, I got you, I've been there, my clients have been there. I have 10K content strategy audit calls. These are free. I offer a couple a week. We are fully booked. We have one spot will open next month, but we are pretty much full and pretty much stay full. It's just kind of like a one in, one out type of thing at this point. So I don't offer a lot of these calls, is what I'm saying. But we do have a couple a week. So I will drop the link below. So be sure to grab one of these calls. I can't wait to support you for free. My eyes and brain on your business, on your content, on your strategy. We will really figure out where the gaps are, what opportunities we can, lean into, what problem to solve. So this is something I love doing. People always get really amazing results and takeaways just from these free calls. So I can't wait to support you on one. I will drop the link below. And thank you again for being here live, catching the replay. I know there's a million places that you could be, and I'm just so grateful. So have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.